Welcome back to the Bad Booty Book Club.
Nope. Not
Big
going
Booty
there.
Book
Bad
Club.
Arse Book
Okay.
Club.
Zach's a little timid right now, so let's get this straight.
The Big Book Club.
Nope.
Big.
We're gonna sit
Big
here in silence.
booty,
You
big
say
booty.
What does
Booty.
BABC stand for?
Badass Book Club.
Don't
The
yell.
ass.
Ass.
We're dropping that
Oh,
ass.
Badass Books.
Badass Books
Badass
Club.
Club.
With a
Badass.
Z.
Badass Book Clubs.
Yes, I got you. All right.
Yep.
And today, we are covering Faith for Exiles, 5 Ways for a New Generation to Follow Jesus in Digital Babylon by David Kinnaman and Mark Matlock.
We're all reading this book together.
Page 1.
Chapter
Page
1.
one.
Here we go. Buckle up, people. It's going to be an exciting ride. All right. If you have not heard of Barna before, you need to know these guys. These guys look at faith and culture. It's actually like data driven. These guys have been watching the state of the church for a long while now.
Yeah.
And so they've exposed us all to the problem through books like You Lost Me. And now they're talking about some solutions.
Yep.
So this book, like just the first concept, Digital Babylon, started to blow my mind. So let's just talk real quick. I think a lot of us want to like make America Jerusalem again, but we're actually living in a digital Babylon. Let's talk about that. Where is America right now?
Yeah, I just want to welcome back Gunnar
shit.
and
Hey.
Graylyne and Jess. Hey, y'all did
What's
great
up?
last month. We
Yeah.
kicked this thing off strong, but then we totally screwed up the audio. So I'm hoping this month
Oh, really?
everybody can actually
I know, I
hear
didn't know
you
that
as
either.
you talk into the mic. No, we
No,
can hear
here's-
you, but it's just like you were like sitting in the third row back, you know, kind of
Gotcha.
sharing your opinion.
Nice.
Did it
So
really
we're-
sound
but
like
we're-
that?
Hey,
I have a voice.
we do, and we're all gonna
Can you
make
hear
out
me
with
now?
the mics, and you're gonna be crystal
Eat the
clear.
mic.
Okay.
Eat the
Right?
mic.
Yep.
We're quiet. Joe's loud.
Yeah.
All together. It puts our sound guy to work.
Totally. All
Welcome
right,
back, guys. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. The terrible host, Gunnar, Graylyne, Jessica. We love having you guys.
Good to
GGJ.
be here. Good to be
Now can we start?
No, we can start. Yeah. We're
Okay,
good.
thanks, Joe. All right, so America, the state of America, the idea of like Jerusalem versus Babylon. What do you guys think? I can lay out some. So like Jerusalem was mono-religious, slow-paced. It was one culture. It was sweet and simple. It was the good old days. Babylon, pluralistic, a lot of different worldviews. It's accelerated, frantic, like people are always doing. It's really diverse. It has authority issues, like it's not top-down monarchy. It's complex, and there's a lot of idols.
Yeah, and this is how David Kinnaman sets up the
Yeah.
first half of the book.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
To the 3 A's. I forget. I know it's authority and access. And
Joe has an A for you.
Alienation.
alienation.
Yes.
Feeling
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It feels like we're in a mix of both, right? We have two different competing cultures right now, and I think when we have something as polarized as the election that's going on right now, or the election process, we see both of those sides at war. I mean, how can you go from Trump to swing all the way around and have at this point in the election, a socialist leading the charge? I mean, these are two very different mindsets at war, and I think that's kind of symbolizing what we're all dealing with. I think the culture of Babylon, that idea is rapidly taking over the U.S., much like it did Europe, 20, 30 years back, and so we're following those footsteps. So.
Yeah, totally. So the idea of access, we have access to so many different things. Alienation, our pizza just got here. Alienation, but at the same time, we feel totally alone. And then authority. You talk about just the breakdown. This next generation has no trust in authority.
Correct.
At all in the church, or that's what I think is interesting as far as I really just now got to the age where I care a little bit about who's running the country, quote unquote, but even realizing we are kind of the first wave of people who, both from the church and from government and from school, what almost across the whole spectrum, our generation has had a pretty bad experience with authority as far as a generic view of it. I think, individual level people have probably had a good mentor or a good coach or a good principal or something like that. But I think overall, I think in the podcast we listened to that was talking through the book, there's that blanket statement of millennials don't trust authority. They're sketched out by all of it. And I think that's kind of a one-sided view. It's more like, well, I don't think they've exactly had a good experience with it across the board. And I don't think that's playing the victim at all, because obviously we want to change that, but it is We just haven't been able to look toward a big platform and see someone leading well, whether that's a priest or a pastor or a principal or a coach, a parent, like
Or president.
a president.
You just had this peace strand going there.
It wasn't on purpose, but it felt right.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. How many P's can you name? Yeah, totally. And I think I get a little bit sheltered because, like, I'm from the sticks. I grew up in like a Southern Baptist church culture, and we're trying to hold on to that idea of Jerusalem like as much as possible. To shelter to a point where we're like borderline Amish. But then, like, moving to Austin, I've just been exposed to everything,
Right.
and it's a totally different culture. And my ideas have been challenged. My mind's been opened.
Yeah. I would agree. I think they're kind of going back to the millennials and their view of authority. I feel like, as a 37-year-old man, when I was growing up, or especially as a young person, there were those people who opposed authority or had like a stance or a position, but they were like the exception. I think within society nowadays, it's just like everybody has an opinion, everybody has a desire to be seen, everybody has a voice, and they're ready to use it, and there isn't a fear. Like, I felt kind of growing up like there was like a constraint at times. Like you can say a certain thing, but just don't step outside these lines. Now it's like it's accepted, it is celebrated, it is like, if you don't say something, like, where do you stand on the issue? And so that's a little bit different. I think it can be confusing at times for people who are just looking for something to grab a hold to, because they're just like, it's almost a fad to be opposing authority. And so
To be woke.
yeah. And so I've loved how this book like talks about taking that part of our culture and figuring out how to connect to it and ensure like students, young people have something to reach to press to.
So I have a confession to make. I like to watch Disney Channel shows. It's okay, you can silently judge me.
No judgment.
No
But,
judgment
like-
at all.
I
Those shows
want to
are
know what
great.
shows.
Which ones?
Well, anyways, what happens is like the shows, like the adults actually don't even appear in the shows. It's often kids living with by themselves or living with an older sibling, to the point that they actually have taken parents and any kind of older people off the show. And there's this other one that I was watching, and the daughter is constantly like opposing and teaching her uncle and her mom, making them kind of look like imbeciles, idiots. And so it's kind of this tension of like, yes, we need to respect the voices of the youth, but also like even in media, parents are just made to be like complete idiots and very unwoke,
Right.
So
Right. Like
Wisdom is that
the
balance.
Boomer, like,
Yeah.
okay, boomer. And it's like, wait a minute. Do I fall in that category? Because I feel like I'm a voice of reason at times, but I'm like, but yes, it's really celebrated within our culture and society now to have an idea and an opinion, which is necessary, and you want young people to think for themselves. But
Yeah, and we'll dive into that a little bit, because we're not just going to sit in the problem, but actually move to some solutions that hopefully we can apply as we try and navigate this digital Babylon. And intergenerational relationships is one of those solutions. So 3A's, access, alienation, authority, has kind of left us stranded, like spiritual nomads. Where am I, and what the heck am I doing? Barna actually breaks it down and talks about like it's kind of poor discipleship. We've left these, we've prepared them for Jerusalem and then sent them into Babylon. And that's why we see like 90% of the kids fall away from the faith. They go to college and they're like, hey, that was all a lie.
Yeah.
Like everything you told me. You told me God made the world in 6 days, but this teacher, this authority is saying this. And I saw this YouTube video and I read this Reddit strand. Whether it's true or not, it presents itself as an authority. And here these guys are